Sky Howdy, and welcome back to another episode of World Bigfoot Radio.
Welcome to the Paranormal Highway. If this is your first time here, just to let you know what we're about here. We're about a channel to learn. We just want to learn things. We want to learn how to. We're like students of the game. We love the Bigfoot stories. We love the UFOs. We love all communities. But we're about learning here, learning on what videos are real, what videos are fake. How do we know what we're looking at? So when we get a guest, like you're about to see Duke from World Bigfoot Radio, we're going to get a dose of what do we look for? How do we know if we're looking at something that's real? You guys are going to love Duke. I mean, most of you here know Duke already, but Duke's channel, World Bigfoot Radio, in my opinion, is one of the top person in the UFO community, Bigfoot community, but he does talk UFOs too. He's just one of the best. So guys, kick back and relax. I'm going to play you a short little intro, get some popcorn, get some drinks, whatever you got to do. Find a mirror, look at yourself in the mirror, whatever you got to do. Kick back and relax because you're about to see a kick-ass show. See you back on the Paranormal Highway. Yes, I did. I stole one of World Bigfoot Radio, put him in the intro because he is the man of the hour. I got some videos from him. I got some pictures we're going to look at. But right before we start there, you know, Duke, I gotta know something. Let's pretend that the 5% that are in the chat don't know you. We all know everybody knows you, but the 5% who doesn't know you, why? What got you into doing Bigfoot videos anyway? Looking at Bigfoot, studying footages, doing, filming yourself. Is it because you've seen Bigfoot yourself, or you're just intrigued about the Sasquatch species?
Well, my initial exposure to the whole thing is when I ran into a cryptid in 1972. When I was out sledding with one of my friends, and then I was so terrified I didn't want to go in the woods anymore. And then 5 years later in 77, I had Bigfoot right up on the yard that I almost walked into in the dark. And at that point that I realized that staying out of the woods was not effective means of keeping cryptids away from you. So it would behoove me to know more about them. So I've been actually studying, trying to find every bit of information that I can on this subject since 77. And that's how I got involved in it. And nowadays, I got several hotspots out here by where I live where they're active, at least during the summer months when I'm available to get up there. And so I just go camp up there a lot, hang around with them, do field research, that sort of thing.
Is that the same place where you grew up in the same area, in the same state, same area?
Nope, I grew up in northern Minnesota. I'm living out in western Montana now.
You know, because I always listen. We know there's Bigfoot, of course, around the world, but I always feel that California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, and the upper part of Canada, my opinion is where the most Bigfoot and Sasquatch is because of the mountains. I mean, it's like home, so you don't have to go far to go research Bigfoot. You can just go out in your back door and you're there.
Yeah, I'm right next to Mount Sentinel, and all I got to do is jump in the vehicle and drive about 2.5 miles up the mountain, and there's an area where you can usually find structures and tracks in. So it's not very far away.
And of course, I love Montana. I've drove through Montana several times going to New York. The big skies, the mountains. I mean, just the whole state is beautiful. I always wanted to know for somebody who's seen Bigfoot himself and all that. That I mean, you don't have to. You can answer this any way you want. You know, when we had our Bigfoot encounter when I was 11 years old, there was over 11 of us that nobody knows exactly why, but we feel that since we camp in the same area every single year, same spot, that they kind of knew us, and we were always been taught by my parent, our relative family who's go hunting, to respect the mountains, respect the forest, respect Bigfoot. They talk like Bigfoot, like Santa Claus. To us, Bigfoot wasn't a surprise because they always talked about Bigfoot's real. You know, you got to respect it and I respect you. And some of us in our camp believe when we had our sighting that it was probably because it knew us and we knew they were out there and it wasn't going to harm us. And of course, we're not going to harm them. Do you see any truth in that? That maybe like where you live, Bigfoot knows you. He knows you're not there to harm him.
Oh, in my case, absolutely. I've practically been adopted into the one tribe that lives in the one area. It's I think the best thing if you want to have any kind of interaction with them is just habituate by presence. Just keep going there over and over and over and over again. And they come and they scope you out and they make a decision on if they like you or trust you or anything. You know, and if you don't get any activity after a few years, then they probably don't like you or trust you. Go somewhere else. But, you know, I mean, it sounds like so simple and everything, but you have to remember that, you know, they've got us outsmarted 100% of the time, pretty much. So everything's on their terms. So you've got to get them used to you. You've got to get them curious enough that they want to check you out. And then when they do check you out, you know, are they going to like you or not? And that has a lot to do with your personality and what your intentions are, because they can actually read your surface intentions and stuff too. So, you know, you can't fool them, basically.
You know, here's an interesting comment. Danny Stanton wrote, "It's easier when they come to you." And I can see his point there because with our account, we weren't looking for Bigfoot. We were just on our regular mountain, you know, hunting trip, nothing normal. We weren't out to harm anything that we're not, you know, you're not supposed to. And, you know, I always hate, Duke, when people say, why can't everybody see the Bigfoot? Why can't we, you know, get that picture? Because for one thing, Bigfoot knows you're there. They got better smells, you know, better nose senses than we do. They know how many people are there. They're not going to show themselves for every dumbass.
They have psychic abilities that we don't have, you know.
Yes.
Like they know before I'm going to go up there and visit them, they know 2 days in advance that I'm going up to visit them.
Oh, so you think they I mean, they might know. I felt they knew our smell, but you're saying that they even know when you're.
Yeah, they know what your
there.
vibration is after you've been around there a bunch of times, and when they start feeling that vibration, it's like, oh, they're thinking about coming over here. They're going to be coming here.
Wow, I never thought about that. That they feel you. They know when you're coming. That's very, very interesting.
The other thing is they all have, you know, interpersonal telepathic communication, which most Bigfoot researchers like to call mind speak for some reason. Let's invent another word for telepathy. But basically, this has a lot to do with the character that's attributed to them by the natives, especially out here in the Pac West region, where if you see big totem poles, they have all these different animals carved into them. And they're all real, except for the Thunderbird and the Bigfoot that they put on there. So what's up with that? Well, because they're real too. But if you go a little bit deeper and you look at it, all of these different totemic animals all have different values ascribed to them. Like the coyote is a trickster and he's wily. That's where they get Wile E. Coyote from. All of the different animals have these different traits associated with them. And interestingly, the trait that's associated with Bigfoot is honesty. Now, to all the things you would think they could attribute to this gigantic, scary, hairy-looking monster running around the woods, why would it be honesty? Well, they nailed that one dead on, and the reason is because they all have telepathic communication. Lying only works when you're talking. If you're telepathically communicating with somebody and you're lying to them, they know right away you're lying to them. They can read your friggin' thoughts. So they basically can't tell lies. They can't get away with it with each other. They have no concept of telling lies. They're honest.
I can see that because proven that dolphins can talk to each other using it.
Yep.
You know, we only on the show we talked about that. So we only use 8 to 10% of our brain. A Bigfoot could be using 12, 13%. We don't know how much
they could be using a lot more than that. And if you scale
probably
them
a lot
up
more.
for size,
I'm giving the benefit of the doubt, but even
you scale them up for
extra 2%.
size, take a 12, 15 foot Bigfoot. How big is their brain actually? It's way the hell bigger than ours is.
There's some stories up here. Some Native Americans that I talked to, they said that that they would give Bigfoot gifts, and for exchange, the Bigfoot would help like guard their land, like making sure that they help keep the bad people out. You think there's some truth to that?
Yeah, I've heard several stories like that where the local the local people that live there, landholders or not, had been there for a long time and had always had good relations with them. And in a couple of cases, they were well aware that they were there. They'd seen them and stuff. They just never had any hostile behavior from them. So they never had any hostile behavior from the humans that lived there, and everybody got along fine. And then like somebody else who wasn't supposed to be there showed up and bad things happened to them. So it's either that the local Sasquatch actually liked the people that had the property and felt like they needed to guard them. And in a couple of cases, I could see why, because there had been, they just would, those guys are living over there. Here, go drop off the extra, leftovers that we had and stuff. They'll eat it. And, that sort of thing. So there was this kind of mutual exchange. Well, they're giving us food. And, hey, if somebody does something bad to them, we don't get no more food. Don't let that happen. It could be just as simple as that. So I don't want to, ascribe all these super altruistic behaviors to them, because you don't know. They're individuals. It's on an individual basis. But in general, things like that absolutely do happen. And especially when it's like single women that don't have a male around to keep an eye on them, especially if they got any kind of physical problems or illness or anything like that. I've heard several cases right from the witnesses that the Bigfoot hang around there and keep an eye on them. And one of them, they were terrifying them because they'd go by the house and slap the wall every day. And she had no idea what was going on. Like every time my husband's gone for 3 or 4 days, one of them comes up and slaps the wall. Why are they doing that? Well, they're doing that to let you know that they're there. You're not there by yourself. You got 10-foot tall bodyguards keeping an eye on the house. You shouldn't have too much to worry about.
I love that, because like you said, they can sense you're a good person.
Yep.
And they, they help you, you're going to help them. I mean, that's awesome. Of course, like I said, you and I, we live in states where there's a huge Sasquatch Bigfoot culture in our states. I mean, shoot, we should have the Sonic saying our mascot was the Sasquatch.
Yeah.
We have laws in certain counties that if you shoot a Sasquatch, you can be charged for manslaughter. You know, some areas take it.
Yeah, I know
very
they've had
seriously.
that law in Skamania County for a long time.
Yeah. Now, of course, I'm sure somebody can make up a lie and say it was attacking them. I mean, how would anybody kind of know? But to me, anybody who goes out on purpose to
Well, if
hunt
the Bigfoot was
Sasquatch
attacking you,
deserve to be
nobody
in
would
jail.
know unless they found pieces of you strewn around the woods.
You know, my favorite thing is when, you know, actually I was in the mountains, deep mountains, like over a month ago. You know, my favorite thing is just sitting there and looking at nature. You know, not necessarily have to be out in the middle of the woods and keep walking to see Bigfoot. You know, like you said, you know, Bigfoot knows that he can come to my family that's out there camping. It's just sitting there with nature. It's just beautiful. Like I said, you respect them, they'll respect you. Now, we got some videos that you sent over to me, and we're gonna look at a couple of these videos. The first video that Duke you sent to me is called "Examination of the Sasquatch Video Captured During Eureka Bigfoot Investigation" by Duke and Johnny. So that's the first video I'm gonna play right here that you sent over to me. Should I just play it, or you want to say anything about the video first?
Yeah, this is currently my favorite video because I didn't have to put it out. I sent a timestamp from one of my videos that I turned out in August to Kelly Shaw from Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization to take a look at. And he took a look at it and went, "Dude, there's a Bigfoot's face in this one." And I went, "Well, do you want to do a breakdown? You got better software than I do. You know, you could probably use the extra content." And he's like, yeah, sure. So next morning, this video comes out, and he's not only got the breakdown of the Bigfoot face that we caught. There's also clips in the middle of when he was there with Jenny and me 2 months before, and we found a couple trackways of 19-inch tracks going up this hillside, leaving craters in it. And also a piece of video that we shot over in the Sapphire Mountains the year before, where we actually had a Bigfoot do a wood knock and then look back to see if the humans were paying any attention or not after he did it. And we got his face on video too. So that was really cool. Kelly put it all together. He gets all the credit for it since he put it all together. But yeah. And the other thing is the new piece of video where Johnny accidentally got the one peeking at him between the two tree trunks. That was about no more than a quarter mile away from where me and Jenny and Kelly were 2 months before. And when we were there, he caught two Bigfoot on video that were peeking around trees and looking at him. And I've already shot the comparison video for him. He's going to put that out shortly.
Wow. Okay, so when I play this video, at any time, Duke, you want me to pause it, you want to say something about something there, just let me know, and I'll pause it for you.
Okay.
All right. I'm excited. And, you know, just knowing that you built this community with certain people that have certain tools that you know they have, you don't have, and you guys share information with the videos, not about putting it out first. It's about getting the information out correctly. That's the one thing I love about what you're doing here and all that. Let the right person with the right equipment get that information out there. So I love that.
Well, this is it. We're trying to get the real researchers to actually work with each other instead of fighting with each other.
Exactly. I love that. Here we go.
We're taking a close look at a section of video Johnny and Duke filmed from World Bigfoot TV during a follow-up investigation titled Montana Bigfoot Project, August Field Report, Tracks, Structures, and Sasquatch. One of the goals of the expedition was to film comparison footage at the location Jen, Duke, and Kelly captured of what appeared to be at least two Sasquatch watching them from cover. The section that Johnny was filming, he pans across what appears to be the head and face of Bigfoot watching him and Duke in the cover between two large tree trunks. A viewer pointed this out after watching the video, and after going through the timestamp 1507 to 1509, there appears to be at least 25 frames where the creature's entire face and head are in focus. Let's take a look at one of those frames enlarged by 150%. Here's the top of the creature's domed head. Look how human this face appears. And his coloration is amazing camouflage, with brownish gray face, and the hair just above his hairline is dark brownish black. His nose to me is very human-like, and when you look at the mouth going through this section in slow motion, you can see the mouth changing position and the face changing expression through the 25 frames of video. This first frame curls up like in a grimace or smile. Then in a few frames, it straightens out. Then towards the end, looks like a frown before the Bigfoot pulls his head back and Johnny pans away, not knowing the creature was there. Duke and Johnny were at this location because of vocalizations that came from this direction. Plus, it was above the location they needed to get to so they could film the comparison video of the suspect Sasquatches.
You could see he turns his
RMSO
head.
had filmed.
That was the dead giveaway right there.
Yeah, you can see it right there. And people in the chat, the Sasquatch noise you're hearing is a sleeping dog snoring. So that's not from the video. No, that I do like sometimes you guys put the red arrow, but Danny does say you should put some circles.
Yeah, there was red circles right at the beginning of it, so you know where to look.
Yeah, there was a red circle. So,
but yeah, watch it as it goes through it again, because you could see him turning his head and the expression on his face changes, and like Kelly pointed out with his mouth.
Let's see.
Back in July. I will show you the suspect Bigfoot footage Duke and Johnny were here to investigate, and then at the end of the video I will show you footage Duke's team filmed last year on the next mountain range of what I believe is the only video where a Sasquatch was captured in the act of wood knocking. We noticed it behind a log leaning against a host tree. It appears to take a look at us after the vocalization, then hides behind the host tree. Not saying these are Bigfoot tree peeking at us and vocalizing.
They are.
However, we would like to show what we and other viewers have identified in the video. I would also like to zoom in and slow the footage down so everyone can take a better look. If it wasn't for the amazing Bigfoot trackways we found that day, and then the vocalizations, it prompted us to point the camera in the direction, we would have just shrugged off this 220 frame section that lasted under 4 seconds. But because of everything found and heard at that point in time, here it is. After we play this footage, we will show off some of the better 19-inch tracks we found in 2 separate trackways. One trackway went down the mountain toward the creek, the other went up toward the mountain peak.
Whole track
I'm going to pause for a second. The little clip he was just showing there, I was about 80 or 100 feet in front of them. They were walking along behind me, and they heard whoops to the right-hand side. So Kelly fired up his camera and did a pan as he was walking. And then later on, when he put the video out, people pointed out, hey, it looks like Bigfoot in these 2 spots. So I went back there, and like he was saying earlier, I was there. One of the reasons we were there was to film comparison video for this. And then we went about a quarter mile away from there down in the gully, and that's where Johnny caught the video that he showed right at the beginning. So we shot comparison video for this. He already has it. He's already done the breakdown. And he just hasn't bothered to release it yet. He's trying to get it all nice and perfect and juicy.
Can you, like since you've been doing it for so long and they kind of know you, you kind of know them, can you kind of sense and feel that they're right there watching you? Like you could
oh yeah, you know,
point it out without even seeing it.
If they're nearby paying attention, you can feel that there's somebody looking at you.
Like a certain kind of like an energy. Okay.
Yeah, well, just like, you know, if you've got one of your friends that's like behind you in a parking lot staring at the back of your head, it doesn't take very long before you turn around and go, who the hell's looking at me from back here?
And you guys do some good investigation to be able, you know, take a footage and really pay attention to look for the movements. You know what I mean? I mean, this could be easily missed, like nothing there, but you got some people that really look.
Yeah, we got some really amazingly good people at spotting this stuff. Christy, who's in the chat room too. I mean, she's a class A++ Bigfoot researcher herself, and she could take somebody else's video and look at it and go, "There's 2 of them right back there." What? Zoom in on it. Yep, there they are. You know.
And you said something that you didn't meant. I mean, not meant to say, but you said something that struck a chord with me. When the Bigfoot video is playing, you said, you know, we don't, you know, make up your own mind in a way. And you said, no, they are. I love that, because I remember one person told me that, you know, the biggest problem with people are they know what they saw, but they're afraid to come out and say it. you got to be confident. Just come out and say it because you know what they are. Because if you don't, it's going to eat you on the inside.
Well,
You
here's
know
the
what you
here's
saw.
the official disclaimer. We shot the comparison video, so we know for a fact those objects are not there. They were there when he filmed this. Those are animate objects. So either those are two really big guys with black outfits on sneaking around following us, or they're probably Bigfoot.
Yeah, yeah. And what would two people be dressing up, being out there of all places? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. No.
let's go fool Duke. You know, I was like, okay.
Let's follow Duke around the woods. Put on your giant Bigfoot costume and let's follow him around the woods. Yeah, no.
The mountain peep.
Whole track in so they can see.
Look, something went up the hillside right here. Jenny found
You can
these
see how deep
tracks.
those
About 8.5.
impressions are. Those are he's going to show a whole bunch of them here. This one decided to cut across this one road that had been cut into the side of the mountain and just go straight up this embankment up to the ridge line, which, you know, after you look at it, you can kind of see why we weren't doing that. But he was leaving impressions in the hillside that were anywhere between 4 and 6 inches deep on the uphill side and 19 inches long. So big dude.
And you know, like, because since you know you've seen a lot of footprints in there, you could like right off the bat say, nope, that's not a falling log that fell right there. It's not.
No, there's a whole track line. This isn't one track.
So there's a track line. So
two of them actually. One came
Wow.
back down the hill too.
You know, that's a question I used to always ask. Like, how come people, not you, but like everybody always catch this one foot, but there's no more.
Yeah.
You know, like did they go through a portal every single time? So I love that you're telling me there's several here.
Yeah, roll the video. Watch. He's going to show them to you.
1/2 inches wide right there. I don't think it used the entire foot here. Yeah, I think it was just using the front pad of the foot, which there's about 13 inches of it. I think the hill probably extended off the hillside here. Also stepped right there. It was heading up this embankment hillside.
Whatever it was nimble because
And usually a Bigfoot track at the widest point, the length of the track's usually about double. However, saying that, once they hit about 8 inches wide, 8.5 inches wide, they usually quit getting any wider. But that's something that
Disagree
would
with
be
Kelly on that
17
one.
inches or longer. But yeah, whatever it was heavy as hell that went up right there. This one's about 19 inches in length. And you can see where one of the toes really, it may have been the big toe on the right foot that really shoved in right here as it
Gonna pause
leaped.
for a second.
It brought the rest of this.
Eric?
How many years has he been doing this? Probably like 30, 40 years.
No, Kelly's only been like actively involved for about 15 years
15
doing
years?
field research.
But I mean,
The what he's pointing out there is this one has this weird toe, which he immediately decided to call it crazy toe. But we've been seeing tracks from this one individual around the area for, you know, all summer long.
what I'm saying is you gotta have a good eye to, you know, to spot where you know it's a Bigfoot print there.
Yeah.
Where most people just walk by, don't even think second of it.
Well, they're not used to looking for him either, and they don't know
Yeah,
where to
that's
go
true,
look
too.
for him.
Yeah,
And,
that's true.
Again, if you're on a
automatically
trail or
walking in the
something,
woods.
if you're walking down an old logging road or on a trail or something, chances are really good that you're not going to see any Bigfoot tracks.
True.
You got to get off the trail, off the road, and then what? Wander around randomly? Well, you better have a pretty good idea that they're in the area and what kind of travel routes they'd use in order to go off the trail and still find tracks. That's how you do it, actually. But this is just a random catch because we walking down this mountainside road that you can't even drive on it. It's completely blocked off. You have to walk down it. So nobody ever goes down it. And we got far enough down, and actually Jenny spotted this track line going up this embankment. I was already way further down the trail than them. I turned around and came back. And then as we were going back up, we found the other one. We had come back down again and went down the even steeper hillside on the opposite side, down into the ravine.
And it's probably important to know that, you know, you guys, you know the land, you know the area. So, you know, when you go off the trail, you're going off, you know, since you know the area, you know how to get back. It's when people don't know the area and they're being idiots, they're walking off without any way to trace their way back and they get lost.
Yeah. Yeah, in areas that we do regular research, we just search grids. Like we're going over here in between this spot and this spot, and we're just going to go back and forth and cover the whole thing, and then we're done for the day.
Smart.
And then we know the whole area too. We know how it connects up to everything, what it looks like. Hey, that stump wasn't there the last time we were there. Oh, that's because it's not a stump. It just got up and ran away.
Yep. Hear that, people? Investigation. Know the area. Study the area, because the last thing you want is get yourself lost out there. Know it.
Oh
And
yeah,
do you
look at some of the
recommend
video of these areas that we're
when you go
in.
out, I'm gonna continue this video, but when you go out, do you try to have somebody go along with you where there's at least two of you, or you don't care? You just go out by yourself when you want to.
I used to just go camp for months by myself, but all the people on my channel started yelling at me. So now I have to bring somebody with me so they don't yell at me. And plus, having somebody with you is great, because then when something happens, you got a witness right there that goes, "Yep, I actually heard that. Actually, I heard two whoops. Duke didn't hear the first one." You
Is
know,
one of those people who yell at you? Is it Christy Sci-Fi Gal? Does she yell at you if you go by yourself?
no, she gets yelled at from her Sasquatch if she wants to go somewhere without them.
So she gets yelled at like you do. That's
Yeah.
great.
No, I
That's
got humans
awesome.
yelling at me. She's got Sasquatch yelling at her. So when they say no, they mean no. No, you can't
That
go
is-
camp in Honey Island Swamp.
That is awesome. All right, let's check out some
Dirt
more.
down on its tracks when it leaked. Oh yeah, 8.5 inches wide, just like the one below. The one below was just like most of the front of the mid-tarsal, but this is the entire track, and it terminates
That's a
about
big
6
crater.
inches as well.
What was that?
So there it is. That's a big crater.
Yeah.
Where it starts curving to the back, and you can see the hill come clear back to here. Yeah, this one's
yeah.
ginormous. This one, from the top of the big toe to where it terminates and curves around in the back, is about 18.5 to 19 inches in length. Yeah, I am seeing another track over here.
Notice how
Yeah,
steep
you're right.
that
It's not
is.
even a track, it's a crater.
Notice how steep that is.
Yeah, one of his toes is showing up really good on this side. And he sunk in deep. He sunk in about 2.5 inches in the rear. And I'm having a hard time coming up this. And he probably come up here gracefully compared to me. Check out that. This is it coming down.
You ain't kidding. There's a lot of footprints right here. You think
Yep.
it's all from the same Bigfoot,
Same
or there's like
individual. Yeah,
two or three?
I've been finding tracks from him all summer long. He's got that one weird toe, and he's got a 19-inch foot.
So the same
So,
Bigfoot's
yep.
like basically lives there.
And these were really fresh, so they may have been made at pretty much the same time we were there. Because after this was all shot, me and Johnny went back there, which was at the beginning of the video. We went down in the ravine where these tracks went down into. And it's so steep you couldn't go down where he went down. We had to go way up to the where the trail switched back where the ravine started, and walk all the way down the base of the ravine to get to where he had come down. And the craters from him coming down there from 3 weeks, it was longer than that, a couple months earlier, were still there. You could still see them coming down. And when it got down to the base, what was down there? Well, me and Kelly both thought it was water down there. No, there wasn't any water down there. What was down there was a game trail that goes from the base of it up the opposite side to the top of the hill over there, and comes out at exactly where, guess what? When me and Kelly and Jenny were there, that's where our vehicle was parked.
God, my dog is just
So
snoring away.
he saw from, because once we got up to the top of the ridge line on the other side of that canyon, you can see the road. You could see the exact spot where we were parked. Because when me and Johnny came back a couple months later, we went up to the top of that ridge where he was probably sitting looking at us. And yeah, you could see the vehicle from there. And if you look across those 2 points, that's where his track line was. He came down, went right over to where the vehicle was, took an eye on us as we were walking down, and then he beat ass back down that canyon and went back up that ridge line again. That was the first set of tracks Kelly and Jenny found.
Wow. Like you said, they could go up those hills, down the hills like nothing. Where we breathing hard.
Oh, we have to go, like I just said, we had to go around to get to the base of where his trackway came down this one ridge, because it's like, no way, I'm not going to try and walk down that thing. I'll break my leg and kill myself.
You know your limitations.
Yeah, that's why I keep surviving this and getting more documented evidence, because I don't do stupid things and get killed.
That is very smart. That's great thinking.
It is 18 inches up to the toe section, and the toes come up here. And it coming downhill, you would think that it would put all of its weight in the front, but probably keeping its balance, it put most of the weight in the back, giving us a really nice heel area.
Crushed the ground down about a foot, you know.
Yeah.
The heel
About 6 inches,
is
I'm
about 5
exaggerating.
inches wide.
Yeah, like you're guys saying, it goes down pretty deep. So
Yeah.
you guys kind of guess on probably the
Oh, he
weight.
measured it on the uphill side. It was about 4 to 6 inches.
So you can sense this. What's doing this is a pretty big, heavy one.
Oh yeah.
What I'm seeing here.
Where it starts to curve to the back, and up at the toe area, 8 inches. And this one looks like it's got the crazy toe off to one side. And it sunk in on the downhill side, 4 inches, uphill side, about 6 inches. So now we got evidence of it going uphill and downhill.
You got another one right there. You got
Wow.
another one right there. You got another one right there. Look at how far apart those are and how steep that hillside
Yeah,
is.
people, it's a trackway. It's not just a one-hopping legged
Yeah.
Sasquatch. In my experience, Bigfoot does not like to leave tracks. Once you find a good one, it leads to more, and we probably just saw a couple dozen tracks there.
Hold on a second. That's very interesting. You said Bigfoot don't like to leave tracks. Is that one like they do that on purpose so people don't try to follow them and find out
Oh, yeah,
what their
they know
homes
what
are?
tracks are. They track animals in order to catch them and eat them. They know exactly what tracks are, and they know that they leave them if they're not careful. And they don't want humans finding them. So that's why it's so rare to find something like this. But again, look at that roadbed we're walking on. How long has it been since anything drove down it? It's gated off. You can't drive down there. How far do people want to walk down this thing that doesn't go to anywhere? So nobody comes down there. That's when they get sloppy. Well, humans never walk down here.
That makes sense. So basically, since people are there's like no traffic where
Yeah.
people are, it's more home to them. They kind of like when you're at your own house, you can walk around your house in your underwear and stuff.
Literally, this entire year in this particular area that you're looking at right now, besides Kelly and Jenny, me and Johnny were probably the only people that have been there the entire year.
Wow.
And some years there's probably no one.
That's a great area to check out. Yeah.
5 or 6 of them were the fully defined, where you got both sides of the feet, the heel and the toes.
This part of the clip, there are at least 3 different
This
subjects
is
or
over in the
creatures
Sapphire
in the
Mountains the previous year. And my buddy Eric is with me. He just is doing a pan around from the teepee structure. There's a giant teepee structure there. You'll see that in a little bit. And he's panning with his cell phone, and he kind of has it zoomed in, and then he zooms back out again. Well, he doesn't realize it, but along the way on the pan, he caught 2 Bigfoot that both made sure that he couldn't see them. These yahoos are not doing a very good job of hiding. There's a little one in the foreground that keeps tussling around. You can see it in between the pine tree branches. The other one, he actually gets its face on camera, and then it does a wood knock, and then it looks back to see if he's looking at it, which he wasn't. He wasn't paying any attention to what was on the screen. He never noticed it. We found this after the fact on his video.
Well, they probably, like I said before, they probably know you guys and they feel a little bit more comfortable. So they get a little bit more clueless.
Yeah, keep in mind, if you look closely, you'll see the embankment behind this spot. That's the roadbed. They're between us and the road. Talk about brazen.
All right, let's check it out. Man, I'm sorry, my dog. Jesus Christ. Whew. Man, I feel safer out there than being in this little room with this mutt.
cover watching Duke, Eric, and their expedition group. I won't point them all out to you. You can see if you can identify them yourself. What I want to show you is the money shot. What appears to be the largest of the 3 looks directly at Eric through an opening in the thick brush after doing a wood knock. You should watch the full video. I will link it in the description. The expedition group is investigating a large suspect Bigfoot structure complex. As the group walks off, This large Bigfoot wood knocks, then looks directly at Eric. You see a lot of movement, but right after it knocks, it looks right through a window of clearing, and briefly you get to see most of its domed head, eyes, massive brown ridge, and nose. What an amazing capture on video of a giant Montana Bigfoot. This Bigfoot appears to be grayish black in color, just like the one my son and I saw in Bear Wallow of the Uinta Mountains after tracking it for several hours. We saw it briefly while it was running through a small gap in the trees. It was the same color as this one. This is an amazing capture by Duke's group.
And always remember, don't flip off the mountain giant, don't poke Dogman with a stick, don't punt the puckwudgies, and for God's sakes, whatever you do not hug the Wookiees. Then he shows a picture of me hugging Jenny. I hope she slapped him for that.
But let me ask you, what do you think that when the Bigfoot knocks? What do you think the meaning of that when the Bigfoot knocks? You know, it's for something like
Yeah,
is it to tell you that I'm
to
here?
each other. They're signaling to each other. It depends on what code they got worked out and what they're doing. Like if they're hunting or something, they'll do wood knocks and signal back and forth to each other if they're in position or not. Or they want to know where somebody in the group is. You know, I know you're around here. Where the hell are you? Wood knock.
And it could also be back. Like a warning knocks, like, hey, letting all the rest of the Bigfoots, there's people out here.
Yeah, actually, there seems to be a correlation between two wood knocks and, hey, there's people out here. Be careful.
And
is some big.
I want to see if I could go back to the like the circle there. So one of the way you're analyzing it is not just a circle on. You can see how tall it is, like tall from here, from the ground.
Yeah,
so, you know, right off the bat,
he's quite a ways back there, so he's a big boy.
There's no way it could be a bear.
No, and it doesn't have a bear's face either.
And
there's
another anomaly there. Either.
If look over to the left of them. There's a blue thing there, and that's in that little tree that's much closer to us. We did not put that there, although we left it in the area the previous time we were there. And what it is a rubber donut with blue frosting on it. That's a dog squeezy toy. When you squeeze it, it squeaks. And apparently somebody had been playing with it because they took it off the ground where it was over by the teepee structure and they stuck it on that tree branch.
Wow. And now I got this other video called, let me see here. Let me get the name.
No, this is a little teaser from the upcoming awesomest spaghetti western Bigfoot documentary ever made, Inevitably Finding Bigfoot, wherein a team of actual Bigfoot researchers poke fun at finding Bigfoot for being a TV joke.
Let's check it out.
And we decided that, well, before you run it, hold on a second. Let me set it up a little bit. We wanted to do kind of the same thing Finding Bigfoot did. Okay, here's their plan. They put together a team. They go to some random state. They have a town hall meeting. They get some leads on where to go look. They go out and usually do a night investigation. They don't find anything. They come back, rinse and repeat. So we decided to see if we could do any better with their system. And we just changed one thing. Instead of having a town hall meeting, we contacted one guy in the state we were going to that has done Bigfoot research there that could point us in the direction of where there's probably going to be some Bigfoot. Go look here. Okay. So other than that, it's pretty much their same format. None of us have ever done any Bigfoot research in the state. None of us have ever, toured around the state, looked at anything there. And the only reason we were there is for a Bigfoot conference, a Nebraska Bigfoot conference. So, of course, just to make it more difficult, because we're real researchers, we'll find Bigfoot in Nebraska. Because there's so many Bigfoot reports from Nebraska. None.
Well, I would think, Duke, one of the things I wouldn't want to do is a town hall kind of like meeting, asking people where they see one, because most of those people aren't investigators. They don't really go out there. So if I would be thinking, well, if they're there, that means it's easy for other people to be around there. And why would Bigfoot hang out where, you know what I mean?
Yeah, plus the other
where there's
thing
a
with
lot
the
more people, and they're not going deep
town
into the
hall meetings
woods.
are
So
a great way for them to gather, more database for the BFRO database, but they're not a great way to find out where the Bigfoot actually hang out, because the majority of these people, it's going to be random encounters. So they saw it walk across a road one time. What does that mean? That they hang around there? Probably not. It means they saw one walk across the road. So that is not a good lead. Good leads
No.
come from the people in the state that are actually Bigfoot researchers that actually know where they are, which is another thing that we proved with this documentary. And since we were coming from the Wild West out to there, and it looked a lot kind of like Wild West anyway, we just decided to make it the spaghetti Western theme. And there's a lot of spaghetti Western music in it, so you'll hear that coming up. But part of the idea here was when we finally meet up in Nebraska there, and again, we got Blaine Tyler flying in from Northeast Ontario, Canada. Christy Sci-Fi, that's in the chat right now, she came up from Louisiana. Me and Ashton from my team came over from Montana, and then we met up with Rich Soul from the Knox Gigas project there in Nebraska and spent 3 hours boots on the ground. So the idea here with the little satirical thing behind it is it's sort of a takeoff of the Magnificent Seven. Or if you've ever seen the movie,
man.
every one of these guys has got like some super amazing powers. One guy can throw knives, another guy's really good with this, another one's good with that. But together they're like invincible, and they get them all together and they save this village from the bad guys. Except our aim is just to get all of us together in a state we've never been to, go find Bigfoot, mission accomplished, go back home again. So we had to have a clip of each one of us kind of setting up what's the background of each one of these people and showing some of the stuff we had done in the past. Then we've got where we all meet in Nebraska. It shows all the actual field research video. And then it's got video of us all coming back home again. And of course, after the whole adventure is over, like Bilbo Baggins goes back to the Shire, everybody goes back home to their boring, humdrum, commonplace life, which in our case means being out in the woods filming more Bigfoot. So at the end of the video, there's even more video of us out in the woods filming Bigfoot and stuff this summer. Wow. And the clip we're going to show you is Christy. It's called Christy Rides Home. Christy goes back to Louisiana. What did Christy find this summer?
You built this up pretty good now. I'm ready. I'm excited. All right, people, let's check this out.
There's Christy with Blaine Tyler there. Eye shine for you.
Wow.
He's eating something. It's hanging out of his mouth.
I gotta tell you, people are they're writing digging the music. They love your music and all that. Good choice.
Classic Ennio Morricone soundtrack from the spaghetti westerns of the 70s. So those pictures I sent you, now, by the way, that's the first public showing of an actual picture of a Gugwe's face that's ever been shown right there. And thanks to Christy putting the side-by-side together there, we got a picture of that face and the Dinopithecus skull right next to each other. And if you look carefully on this thing, now look at it where it's at right now. You can see the mouth. You can see where the nostrils are. You can see the eyes, especially look at the eye sockets. Now look at the Dinopithecus skull. Now
And
look
then
at the
you
side by
you have
side.
it side by side. Okay, let's get it. There we go.
That's the same freaking critter there, kids.
Oh, you can just look at the eyes. The eyes are exactly the same.
Yeah. The only difference is the tilt. The skull, they're looking down on it from a 45. And that face of that one that was in the bushes looking at Christy, that's dead on straight look at it. But you can tell just by looking at the two of them, that is definitely the same critter. So now we know what the Gugwe is right there. And the additional picture I sent you, if you want to cue that up, that's from What Lurks Beneath's channel. And some viewers sent in their story, and they had actually gotten 3 Bigfoot pictures, what they thought was Bigfoot. The first one was taken by the guy that approached him initially, and then the second picture was taken after, kind of a long drug out thing with it. He didn't want to reveal who it was and everything, but it turned out to be his girlfriend had taken a picture of this other thing in the same area. And when you look at the picture, which if you want to bring that up, Eric.
You got it. I got it right here.
There's the original shot. As you can see, it's a good distance away from her, thank God, or she probably wouldn't be here anymore. And I dropped a comment on there. Zoom in on the closer up one. This is not a Bigfoot. Picture number 2, if you got it handy. You have to crop.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Click here. There we go.
There you go. Now zoom in on it.
Okay. Well, there we go.
See that? Snout. Look at the eyes. That's a freaking Gugwe. It's not a Bigfoot. They need to stay the hell out of that area.
And I'm sure people try to get the clicks and views with this picture.
Yeah, they don't even know what they had. They're like, oh, it's a weird Bigfoot picture. That's not a Bigfoot. That's a Gugwe. And I thought it was really hilarious after about 2 days of it being up. I was looking at the comments, and a whole bunch of other people came in there and went, hey, dude, that's a Gugwe. So the public's getting smarter. They're starting to pay attention to all this. Is really good. Will lead to less fatalities. Gugwes are not friendly. They will eat you.
So this one looks like okay, you circle the face, but it almost looks like the face there's another face right underneath it, or is that just the body?
Yeah, it looks like there's a face underneath it. That one never moves. That's the reason he pointed out the top one, because you can see the movement. There's actually another one that's over on the left-hand side of the tree trunks, at least one more. They're all piled up back there watching him go past, which is, again, typical behavior for them. A lot of times you'll see you get a picture of a big one or something that looks like there's faces and stuff on it. Well, yeah, there's little ones hanging onto him, just hitching a free ride. They're like peeking over his shoulder, on top of his head, under his armpit, hanging on the chest hair looking. So you get a whole bunch of them.
Do you believe that the Bigfoot, they have the ability, like a lot of certain animals on this planet, that they can change color with the environment a little bit to like camouflage? Because there's animals.
Oh, they absolutely can. Oh yeah, we've had a lot of people have managed to get their hands on hair from Bigfoot, and several of them that I know, I've had them all try this test and go get something that's got a solid color, get a nice bright light on it, and put the hair on it and watch what happens. Well, the hair turns that color.
Oh, wow.
So that's part of their blending trick. Their hair will take on the color of whatever the hell is right next to them, which is great at breaking up your outline and making you invisible, unless you move like this guy did. And the other ones at the end of the video.
Again, I think they knew you, so they weren't
Yeah.
100% that had to be on their game.
Yeah, these ones, they know that they can get really sloppy and not have to be on their game. The same weekend we were there and filmed this, they started a cattle stampede in our camp the following night, which was also hilarious. But, we weren't expecting 35 cows to come tromping into camp on top of a mountain. It's not like there's a road to anywhere. We're on top of a mountain. Here comes all these cows into camp after dark. They're all hanging out, mooing, chewing their cud, having a great old time. And all of a sudden we're like, oh man, we got all that food and stuff lying on the ground. We got to get that inside of the truck before they all trample across it and wipe out everything. We had all our camping supplies. And so Johnny's running to put it in the trunk of the car. And we heard this huge wood snap from behind us. And all the cows were like, moo! They all beat ass out of there as fast as they could go. And then we caught a whiff of who that made the wood snap back there and chased all the cows away.
But Duke, does it piss you off when a lot of people say another blurry picture? Why can't we get a clear picture? They're all blurry. Does that eventually piss you off? Because it seemed like anything you put on Reddit, that's all they say on Reddit.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. They didn't watch my last episode, which was the 200th episode of Blurry Creatures. I was on their first episode too, by the way. They decided they wanted me back for the 200th. So we did a whole 2-hour show, which I'm re-releasing on my channel. I just put out the first part last Sunday. And they didn't have access to any of my pictures or video or anything. So every place in the show where I'm referencing something on my version of it, I'm going to put in all the video and stuff. So y'all can see everything that I'm talking about. And part one, I mentioned that there's some people that I know down in Florida that have a portal on their property. They've known it's there for like 2 decades, and they put up a game cam on it to try and get pictures. And occasionally they'd get something, but a lot of the time the battery would just be fried, or there'd be like missing files and weird stuff that, like all of us other researchers run into and can't account for. Only these guys are really smart, and they decided that what they would do is just actually hardwire it. So they took 100 feet of cable, trenched it into the ground, up to the tree where the game cam is. And then on the other end of it, they put a car battery on it and dug that, got a little box in the ground where that thing's sitting too. So the first test run, you can see the pictures on that show. I show them where it's beautiful, bright afternoon down in Florida, bright and sunny. Everything's perfect focus. And all of a sudden this blur starts appearing on the far side of the fence away from the camera. And then there's this head right next to the camera. And it keeps disappearing and coming back again, changing position, disappearing, coming back again. What's going on is there's a Sasquatch there that's trying to zap the camera and it won't turn off, and he can't figure out why. And he keeps coming back and trying to zap it. He's right next to the camera, yet he is blurry in every frickin' picture. And everywhere where you can see around him, everything is clearly and sharply in focus. And it's not because he's so close to the camera, because the guy that set up the camera trap in the last picture, and I left it in there, he comes walking up to it and kind of peeks around the corner. You can see he's the same distance away, and he is sharply in focus. So it's like Mitch Hedberg said, has nothing to do with this other stuff. You guys need to get off the backs of the Bigfoot researchers and quit telling them they can't get a good picture and yelling at them because their cameras are a potato with a lens. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that Bigfoot is blurry. And that's very disturbing. There's a large blurry creature running around the woods that we know practically nothing about.
Well, I believe that Bigfoot has an ability to kind of mess with your electronic stuff. So
oh yeah, they do
get a great picture because a Bigfoot doesn't want people out there.
Especially if you start talking to the Bigfoot researchers, they've all got like half a dozen stories about this. Batteries going dead, pictures mysteriously disappearing, pictures being altered, video being altered. Missing files are completely gone. Numerical sequence. Oh, it goes to 45 and then it skips to 48. What? Where'd the numbers go? It's like, how in the hell does that even happen? Your camera's saying it's dead. It won't start or anything. You pull the battery out. You yell at the Sasquatch, knock it off. You put the same damn battery back in it and it works just fine. Me and Blaine Tyler have both experienced that one.
Well, I took a camera out Duke, and I took a picture in the sky. I put this on my Reddit page, and people were saying, "Oh, wow, you caught 2 UFOs. Wow, you got some UFOs." Actually, no, I took a picture of 2 airplanes. It just on my camera, it just came out blurry. I mean, and it was clear when I looked through my camera. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's
Well, this comes up over and over again, and you know, it's actually something we use to our advantage to look for them in pictures. Because if you got a picture where everything is in focus except one area over here is blurry, there's something right there cloaking. That's why that area is blurry. Look more closely. And they can trick your eye or they can trick your camera, but apparently they can't do both at the same time with 100% skill. Because a lot of times we'll catch them on camera and you go back and look at it and you're like, I was right freaking next to them. How did I not see them? Well, somehow they're making it so your eye isn't able to see them, but the camera's still picking them up, which is really great because then you can just scare the crap out of yourself later when you go back and look at the video and there's like, oh, there's a 12-foot Bigfoot 15 feet away from me. How did I not notice that?
well, and to me, I feel they know that you're there. They can smell you. So they're not going to stand very close to you where you're going to get that money shot. They're going to be in a distance where your camera's not going to get a good shot.
Yeah.
I don't care how good technology gets with cameras. They're going to be in a distance because they know that humans are dangerous. But Duke, are you afraid?
Realistically, if they get within 100 feet of you, they already trust you a ton.
You know, sometimes, Duke, I wonder, do I really want people to, like, you know, say, I don't know, a video, a picture, and that's the proof of all proof, right? The picture that makes everybody a believer. I mean, I don't know if I want stupid people to be out in the woods because people are idiots. There's people that would hunt things just for a prize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want those people out there in those woods and all that. I don't want idiots.
Fortunately, they're so dumb, Bigfoot can easily outwit them.
Oh,
but I agree with you, and that's why, you know, they actually have communications with some people, and they just basically want very limited communications because they don't want humans to mess with them. They know they can't trust us. We're totally unreliable. And yet, all they have to do is watch us for a while, and that's easy to figure out. Plus, a lot of the stuff that we do doesn't make any damn sense to them whatsoever. So we're weird and unreliable. Well, how many weird, unreliable people do you want to make friends with? And the only reason that they do it with any of us after, you know, very long, hard scrutiny and deciding if they want to have anything to do with you, it's basically that they just want us to tell the rest of our crazies that they're not monsters. Don't go bother them. Don't shoot at them. You researchers that think that you should charge to take people out there, they're not your show ponies. That's very disrespectful. They get very angry about that. And you're really asking for it.
but it's still got to piss you off that there's people that do, unfortunately, false pictures on purpose. They false videos because they just want the clicks and views. They're not there for the research. Or there's people that I know that stole other people's pictures and videos and put the claims in their video that they're mine.
Yeah. One of Christie's friends got a real interesting vocalization that some other guy stole and put on a fake video of his. And he was out in the woods somewhere hearing it and must have had, you know, recording of it set up on a loudspeaker nearby or something. It was definitely the same call. But yeah, there's people that pull that crap all the time. I mean, it might be actually real Bigfoot evidence, but they stole it from somebody else and they're trying to say it's theirs.
Yeah, exactly. And they did, and it's one thing to like I play a lot of videos, but I always tell people, you know, let's all take a look at this ourselves and let's all put in comments what do we think of it. I never take a video and say, hey, this is mine. I filmed this myself. I don't do that. You know, I want to know the truth too with any time a video picture comes out, because, you know, and knowing people like yourself, Duke, knowing that you do your proper research, you do your proper investigation, that you're kind of a person that I will take your input to heart too. If I want to solve, if I want to know if this is true or not, you know what I mean? Like find the right people that you know they're going to be honest about the evidence.
Yeah, that's what my show has been about all the way down the line, is actually vet these people before I have them on to make sure they're legit. and then have them on to tell their story and or show their evidence. And I lean heavily toward getting other field researchers that have lots of evidence to show. Because let's face it, if they're going blah 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 Bigfoot, blah 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 Bigfoot, and then they got like actual pictures and video Bigfoot, what they're saying carries a lot more weight rather than just talking about it. Pictures worth 1,000 words, videos worth 10,000. So that's kind of why I lean toward that rather than just doing audio only podcasting. I had my own radio show for a while, and it was just like, well, I can't show pictures and video on the radio.
No, you can't. You could describe the picture.
Yeah. And the other thing is, it isn't like, this channel, my channel isn't just like all about me or something. The minority of the videos on my channel have anything to do with me. Most of the time, I'm doing interviews with other top flight researchers, scientists, and, people like that are heavily involved in the subject. Some of them have been in it for decades from all over the world. I had Dr. Igor Burtsev from the Department of Hominology in Moscow, Russia, on my 100th episode, along with Robin McCrae and Janice Carter from 50 Years of Bigfoot. Those are all my guests for the 100th. So, yeah, as you can see, you got like how many, 370 videos or something? I kind of lost track.
Oh, yeah, you got
page down a little bit there to the second row. There you go, right at the front. See the latest video? That's a picture from that trail cam. That's the cover art on it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And look at how clear everything else in that picture is. And you're going, why is this all blurry? Well, it's because it's too close to the camera, right? No. Then you look at the guy in the last picture that owns the damn camera. He's right there, considerably shorter, right next to it too. And he's clear as a bell too.
And of course, people, his channel link, people will be putting it in the chat. And also his channel link is in my description. So you guys can just go down to the description. But Duke, what keeps you going? What do you hope to leave? Before all of us leave this wonderful world, what do you hope that you're going to leave for all of us?
Just want to bring some understanding to humans about what it is that's out there. But get the best information that I can on it. Try and get everybody to quit fighting and shooting at each other. That sort of thing. Let's all sing Kumbaya and get along, and let's not fight with each other. Then just have basic, what the natives would recommend for Bigfoot, especially, is just have respect for them. The woods, the mountains, wherever they're at, that's where they live. Don't go take a crap in their living room. Don't come in their living room and start firing off guns, making a racket, making a nuisance of yourself, throwing garbage around, stuff like that. Just think of like Smokey the Bear, except he'll twist your head off and shit down your spurting neck stump. So you don't want to piss them off.
I like that. You are right. We are all stronger together, and sometimes you just got to be the bigger man, bigger woman, put on the pants and say, hey, you know what? Forget what happened in the past. Let's just move on. And let's all try to research together, because a lot of us are here for the same goal. We just want everybody to know the truth and all that. But at the end of the day, do you feel? I mean, like humans, most humans are good, with a few bad apples. Do you feel that mostly the Bigfoot Sasquatch family are good? And of course, there's a few apples in all families. Yeah,
they're a lot like we are in that respect. They have individuals that run the whole gamut from, angelically good to diabolically evil and everything in between. But because of the way they structure their society, they can't allow for there to be very much deviation philosophically from the way whoever it is that's leading the clan feels. So they've got pretty tight rules, and they don't have like a jail or something like that they can throw infractors in to punish them. So they really have two choices. They can beat the crap out of you, hoping that you'll learn your lesson, or they can, three choices. They can also throw you out of the group and make you a renegade on your own. Good luck with that. Pretty hard to do everything you need to do and keep yourself going all by yourself. They're social just like we are. They want to be in a group. They don't want to be out by themselves, renegade all the time. And option number 3 is they just kill them.
God, yes. I can see that. So what do you got? What do you got coming up? You got anything big coming up very soon on your channel? like another video dropping very, very soon?
Well, of course, every Sunday I got my regular show out, and this Sunday will be part 2 of my interview for the 200th episode of Blurry Creatures, where I actually referenced a whole bunch of cool stuff that they didn't have the video to include, but I will be putting it back in there. And I'm spending a lot of time right now trying to finish up some of the clips and stuff that I need for inevitably finding Bigfoot so that I can get that done and out finally. The prologue part is pretty close to being done. I just got to get the narrator to do the voiceover for it. So that will definitely be out before Christmas. The rest of it, I don't know.
How often are you on Space Out Radio?
Every week, Tuesday night, 3rd hour. And yesterday we were talking about Bigfoot reports here in Montana, which is really cool. I had a book by David Weatherly about it that I was reading, and as I was reading them, I noticed that there was one of my stories in there too. So I just went, well, I might as well read it.
And I caught the end of the show because I've been so busy because I went to a Kiss concert on Monday night. So
Ooh, fun.
So I was like catching up on Tuesday and all that. But I gotta tell you, Duke, I truly, honestly appreciate you coming on here. I mean, it's awesome. You got so much knowledge, so many videos. I know we could spend like 5-10 hours easily. But of course, I got to go pick up the wife and all that and everything. But I truly appreciate you jumping on. You didn't have to, and you did. So I really, truly appreciate that.
No problem, man. You know, I'd watch your show all the time, except you're usually on so early in the morning. I'm not even awake yet. You know, I'm the night watch, man. I go to sleep at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. But I always, when I do catch your shows, really enjoy them. So I thought it would be fun for my followers to know that your channel exists. And if they happen to be early birds and they got something really, really cool that they can check out earlier in the day. What are you on, like 8 or 9 times a week or something?
I try to be the morning entertainment because there's so many great shows during the day and the afternoon. So I thought I'd try to entertain people. I usually do shows. People, if you are brand new, I usually do live shows Monday, Tuesdays, Thursday, and Friday. I don't have a link up yet for tomorrow. I still got to work on that tonight for tomorrow, but of course I'll be there tomorrow. And then Friday's Veterans Day, so I'm actually going to be hanging out Friday at the VA hospital. We do some volunteer, serve coffee and cookies to veterans and all that. Being a veteran myself, you know, so on Veterans Day we love hanging out at the veteran hospital and just listening to people's stories and all that, because for a lot of people, their biggest medicine is just wanting people to hear them talk. You know, they just want to talk to somebody and all that. So
doing good deeds like that also helps you find Bigfoot, because when you have to make your dice roll to see if you can find Bigfoot or not, you get a +1 for activities of goodness.
Wow, I better go do some Bigfoot out in the mountains this Saturday.
Yeah. The more volunteer work you do, the more they're like, oh, he's on the good guy team. Okay, we'll go check him out. What's he doing over here? He's having a campfire.
So beyond that, I want to say thank you for coming on here. I want to say, everybody, thank you all. And hopefully you're subscribed to my channel, his channel, because I'm telling you guys, people, if you don't, I know all of you know Duke, but some of you who don't, he's an awesome channel. You'll love his videos. You'll love his information. And beyond that, I'll see you guys all next time.
everyone. Safety first, last, and always. Pay it forward. Don't be mean to people if you don't have to be. Don't flip off the mountain giant. Don't poke Dogman with a stick. Don't punt the puckwudgie. And for God's sake, whatever you do not hug the Wookiee.